Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, July. I can't believe I'm saying July. This year is just flying by. July 13th, lucky number 13. I hope you're all doing well. I've had a relaxing morning. I got everything ready for this morning yesterday. So I'm on my iced coffee. I usually have a couple of cups of hot coffee, and now I'm on my iced coffee, and then I'll start to get jittery and know it's time to. Excuse me, how rude! No, it's time to stop. That iced coffee's getting to me. So I hope you guys are having a relaxing morning as well. If you're here in the States, it's morning. I am going to have the camera right in my face, but you're not looking at me. You're going to be looking down on the board. If you're here, say hello. I wanted to again reiterate celebration is July and August, and while supplies last, there are items in this little brochure that you can earn with a minimum purchase. Most of the items are free with a $50 purchase. I have gotten, I think, most all of these. I haven't got the cards and envelopes, but if you like to have ready-made cards and envelopes ready to stamp, that's always a nice choice. And I haven't got the Stylish Sketches stamp set. I'm not a colorer, but I've gotten this amazing phrasing stamp set. It is awesome. I need to start using that. It's got some big sentiments along with some great ones for inside the card or to coordinate with the bigger ones. And you all know that you've seen my card if you've followed me for very long with the little the little Airstream camper, the tree lot dies that coordinate with the Trees for Sale stamp set in the Holiday Mini. And today we're going to be making a card using the Wonderful World stamp set and designer series paper bundle. This is free. You get the paper and the stamp set with a $100 purchase. And I am loving the paper. Monday I made the gift bag using this print. This is, and then today we're going to use the opposite side on our project. Or I'm going to show you a sample. I'm sorry. I'm going to show you a sample that I use the opposite side. And we're going to use this big print here. I have fussy cut some flowers out for the cards that we're going to make today, or I'm going to show you today. Lovely background prints. It is not a holiday focused bundle, so that's kind of nice. It can be used all year round. I think it would make great, well, they're florals, so great feminine cards. Thinking of you, birthday cards, sympathy cards. You can think of a lot of cards that that paper would go great with. And here are some samples of the cards that they've got in the brochure. So we're going to use the Wonderful World stamp set, and then I'm going to use the Sentiment from the Splendid Thoughts stamp set. And this is on page 64 and 65 of the Holiday Mini. And if you do not have a Holiday Mini catalog, I would love to get one out to you. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, just comment in the comments or send me a message and we can get one out to you right away. I ordered this entire suite, so I got everything on these pages, and I'm really loving it. Here are some cards that I made using this suite, the Splendid Day suite. It's the first bundle that Stampin' Up! Has done in their holiday card, or their holiday catalog, that is not necessarily a holiday themed suite. So this is one I did. I took a Stampin' Up! Class or something, I don't know what it was, for demonstrators, and my nephew's getting married later this month, so he and his beautiful bride will be receiving that card. This is probably my favorite card that we made during the event. And then here's one, the all out card. We've got some embossing going on, some stamping, some die cutting. It's a fun card too. This card was using the bowl. I believe it's supposed to be a planter. The bowl upside down in a unique way, and the foil papers from the suite. And then we used the opposite die, that we cut these out of these little pieces and used them in another card. So that was kind of neat to learn how to use both your negative and positive pieces in your card making. And I think this is just kind of a fun artsy fartsy card, as I call it. I always like to take these classes because it kind of pulls me out of my rut of, making the same style of classes. Donna Pollock, how are you? Yes, I will post the host code. It's probably the same as the last one you used. I will get that out to you. I'll post it as soon as we get off here. I should have it written down. I used to have a card with it. All right, this is the card we're going to make today, and this is not my design. Stampin' Up! Demonstrators receive a weekly email every week, and some concept artists. This is not the card we're going to make today. Back up. This is a card that I made yesterday. This is the card you probably received if you're on my mailing list for the free Tutorial Tuesday. And this is that beautiful designer series paper. So the stamping is on the background, and then we use that Sending Hugs sentiment stamp from the Splendid Thoughts set. So it's kind of an easy little card, and then a little baker's twine. And I always forget to stamp on my designer series paper, so that pushed me out of my box a little bit too. Hi, Stephanie. So the card we're going to make today is going to be similar to this card, but we're going to add some oomph to it. And this card is also designed by a Stampin' Up! Concept artist, and I'm just copying her work and showing you because I loved it. And I love the simplicity of both the cards I'm going to show you today. Okay, this is an 8.5 by 8.5 by 5.5, and we're scoring it at 4 1/4. And then I've got a piece of, I believe this is 3 3/4 by 5. Yes, so I've got it. This is Thick Whisper White for our base, our card base, and then this is going to be our first layer. So instead of, when you got the sketch in the email yesterday, if you're on my mailing list and got the free tutorial, the sketch calls for a piece of designer series paper, but we're going to use a piece of the basic white, and I am going to take some Daffodil Delight ink and one of my blending brushes. Oh my goodness, you guys, I just dropped everything. So I'm going to have to pick it up here in a minute, but we'll go ahead and do this first. So I'm just going to take the Daffodil Delight, and I don't want it to be too dramatic. So I'm going to kind of brush off a lot of the ink. I just want a very light kind of aura, I don't know, behind my elements that we're going to put on the card. I don't want it to be real, real dark. And I'm not going to go all the way the edges. I'm just kind of doing like a little cloud. And we're going to use this again. And I'm going to get these pieces that I need for my card. Just a moment. I think I said Monday. I have this huge workspace and I take up every inch of it and it's still not enough for me. I am one of those kind of crafters. Okay, I'm going to take the large. I'm trying to decide if this is a peony or what kind of flower it is. I'm not really a flower person. Hi, Susan. Oh, good. I'm glad you got home in time. I'm doing WW online, and I've lost 5 pounds so far. But summer's hard. Lots of holidays and things, travel, vacations. It's hard to stay on it, but it's keeping me honest. It's a cornflower. Thank you, Susan. I knew you would know because you are a plant lover. Okay, so I'm going to take this image from the Wonderful World stamp set and I'm going to ink it up with the Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to kind of just stamp it on the wonky wonk. Kind of right here. We're going to cover a lot of it up, but I want it to be peeking out from the background. These are distinctive stamps, which mean the shadowing and everything is done for you. It's almost like a photograph. If you would do it in a gray or a black ink, it would look like a black and white photograph. Okay, then I have fussy cut out of the designer series paper these lilies. I believe they're lilies. Susan can correct me. But I love this large print, and that's what the artist chose to do. She cut out one of the big elements from here. This one would have been beautiful, and this pink one would have been lovely too. But I went ahead and copied the artist's rendering. I'm not going to lay it down yet. I just want to see where my placement is going to be. And I have a cheat sheet somewhere. Wouldn't you know, I'd lose my cheat sheet to tell me what I'm doing here. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's right here. I'm using it for my thing. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm doing my placement correctly. See, we're kind of covering up this little guy. But why I want to see my placement is I'm going to take some Mossy Meadow. We're going to use a lot of the images, or several of the images. Now, I just re-inked this pad last night, so it might be a little juicy. And I've taken the little leaves and then this long leaf image, and I want to just kind of have these peeking out from behind my lilies. So that's why I want to determine where I'm going to place this, and I think I'm going to place it right about there, maybe a little higher. I just hate covering up that big flower. Okay. So I want to put my little leaves kind of peeking out here. And maybe over here. And then I'm going to take this one. That looks cute. And I'm going to have it just kind of running up this way. And this way. There we go. So simple, but it's so pretty. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and lay this on our card base, and on the artist rendering of it, she has it, or he has it, just adhered right down. So instead of popping it up, on this sample I did pop up that designer series paper. I like to do that. Just gives it a little something something. Wow, Susan, that is awesome. You're doing way better than I am. Congratulations, because I know how hard that is. It is hard work. Okay, I'm going to hold that off because now we're going to stamp the sentiment. And I said earlier, the sentiment is coming from the Splendid Thoughts stamp set, which I think is going to be kind of overlooked in that holiday catalog. It's one of our $1 million sellers. It's her design. And I'm told that this is eucalyptus. And I think this looks like a corn stalk, but these little images stamp right over top, and it's really nice. And I've used this little bee several times. Just gonna see where those samples were. I don't know if you can see on this sample, we just used the little this image, which is made to fill in the line image. We just stamped it randomly behind there with some Versamark, and then heat embossed it with white embossing powder. So think about using your images out of the box when you're planning things out. Okay, this one is Sending Hugs, and I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow. And I probably don't need this much room, but I'm going to cut this out with the circle die. So I'm going to kind of put it in the middle. And then we're going to use this size. So I think it's this one. These are the layering circle dies. If you do not have circle dies, you need circle dies. I use these all the time. It's just something that you will have forever and use. And then we can just use our little mini here to cut that out. I'm a right-hander, so I'm going to turn it that way. Oops. So there's our little sentiment tag. And now I think we can put it all together. I am going to go ahead and pop this up with dimensionals. I always overkill on the dimensionals. I probably don't need that many. But, I don't want the edges to get caught on something and tear. All right. There we go. That's nice. And then we're going to put our Sending Hugs underneath here. But first, I should have done this first. Backtrack, backtrack. I got ahead of myself as I'm wont to do. I'm going to pull this off of here gently, gently, gently. We are going to add these little strips of the Designer Series paper onto the card front, and I'm going to take this long one and we're just going to put them at a just kind of wonky is what I would call it. That's what the artist did on their sample. I think it gives it a little bit more interest. So I'm going to put this one here. And then I'm going to put this one here. These are 1/2 inch, I believe. Yes, 1/2 inch by 2 3/4, and this one is 3 inches. And I don't know what the artist used on her card. And hers were a little thicker like this, but I didn't like the thickness of it. So whoops, and I want my flowers to be upright. So I'm going to do it this way. So they're kind of staggered and kind of wonky. Then I'm going to put my little flower on here. I might put a little mini over here. I don't want that to get torn off. You know, when someone pulls that out of the envelope, I don't want that to catch on something and get pulled off. Okay, so we're done with these. And then here is our little sentiment, and I'm going to just plop that right down there. And I think I'll pop it up too with some dimensionals. Make sure I've got it straight here. My fingers are sticking together and I'm having a hard time. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, now we're going to add a ribbon with the white from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. I believe this is crumb cake, berry vanilla, maybe smoky slate, and black. So you've got a big variety, very neutral, that will work with most projects. Of course, you're going to always, I do, use white the most. And I'm going to put a big O bow right here. So I'm going to put a little glue dot. Thank you, Susan. Like I said, I did not design this card. It was in an email from Stampin' Up. Susan is a demonstrator, and so she's probably already seen both of these cards. If she has looked in her email we get an email every Tuesday from Stampin' Up, and they usually have some ideas. Sometimes it's just notices about what's coming and things like that. I should mention, of course, you have quite a while, but if you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin before August 10th, that Paper Pumpkin will have a free gift. I don't know what it is, but what they've hinted. So I'm guessing, but I don't want to say. You also get 2 ink spots in it, and it's sunflower themed. So I skipped the July paper pumpkin, and but I definitely am not going to skip the August one. Stephanie was not on her list, but she got it anyway, and it'll be there Friday. Oh, good. And she's excited for the paper pumpkin. Yeah. Okay, now I'm just going to add some of these silver, what are these called? Red and green adhesive backed pearls. They're adhesive backed pearls, but there's also gold and silver. And the green is very pale. So I'm just going to add some of these around. We'll put one up here. Let's see what the artist has done. Not very many. So I'm just going to do what I want to do. I think you're supposed to do them kind of in a triangle or a pattern. So if you drew a line from one to the other, they would connect. So I'm just going to do those 3 just like that and call it good. So there are the 2 Sending Hugs cards. This one we just cut the designer series paper in a circle, and we stamped 2 of those flower images onto the designer series paper. This one, it's very pretty. I need to make a couple using this, and I've got a little glue on there. So that one's a real quick and easy little card to do. Real fast, but real pretty. Real, it doesn't look like you rushed through because of the layers and all the textures and things. And then this one, we just fussy cut out that designer series paper, and we used the same sentiment from the Splendid Thoughts stamp set. Okay, Donna asked about a hostess code, and I will put that on my Facebook page, and I'll put it in the comments below this video as well. For orders placed right now. I don't know if the hostess code will last through the end of July, but probably, because it is the 13th already. So, but I'll let you know. And I can always go in and add it later. I'm allowed to add the hostess code just a few times if you forget to use it. So, but I appreciate you using the hostess code, and people who use my hostess code usually get a little surprise, so in the mail. So keep that in mind. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. Donna says my fussy cutting is so exact. Well, I did it yesterday afternoon, and I really took my time. But yeah, I just kind of follow, just not right on the line of the image, but just after. And a good tip on that, which I've probably said before, let's do this this pink one. I'd like to do another card with this pink one. I won't cut this out in front of y'all, but I'm going to show you what I've been taught to make fussy cutting easier. Is use your sharpest little paper snips, and instead of moving your snips, see how I'm moving the paper? And then applying pressure with my snips. That's how I've been taught. And then once I get it all out, I'll go ahead and trim off any sharp or rough edges that I don't like. But that's helpful, to just move the paper instead of your scissors trying to do that. It's helped me. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for that comment. I guess it's Wednesday, so I will not be back until Monday. You all have a good rest of your week, and if I can answer any questions or help you with anything, please let me know. We'll talk soon. Happy stamping. Bye bye.